So with the strikers, we've got a lot of them and we've got some very good new icons. So let's jump straight into them. We've got so many to go through. Let alone that, we have got a lot of Evos that are coming out, and to be honest, the way I would kind of look at my strikers now, so if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Is more in the case of, we've got team of the season coming. I wouldn't necessarily be buying many people, if any, at this point. If I was looking through and thinking, okay, who's really going to be a miss at this point? You kind of got to judge the Evos on the fact that now when you look at the Evo list that we've got, most of them are going to a 91, 92, and realistically we're looking at kind of 90s in the evolution. So when we do look at somebody like, for instance, if we go for... let's go for this one, in fact. So this is obviously the SBC, max 90 overall. If you just look at the players in general that apparently we can't see, you'd be able to see that, say for instance we go for a Vinny at this point. I know it's a different evolution, but he is now, well, actually it's the same evolution. He is now available to go into an Evo. Can you tell me that if you're thinking of a striker portion, are you going to pick Openda over a Vinny in an evolution? Every single time, Vinny is winning. So you've got to think of, when you look at these strikers like a Diego Forlan now, it's going to be non-existent. Most of the cards are going to be in that sort of miss category from an older point of view, other than the big names. A Peugeot is going to be dropped down, whereas a Son, to be honest, with this winter wildcard, I think he could be slightly usable, but realistically, if you aren't looking him in the usable, you could potentially put him as an Evo still. Now, I think he's still slightly there. We have got a few more that are just going to be, unfortunately, just a straight out miss. There's going to be a few that maybe, like, for instance, someone like Gakpo could make a solid appearance in, again, another sort of Evo. We do have a showdown for him as well, but say we've only got this version of him. They both were SBCs, funnily enough, but we could make him into a 92. If you are building a Liverpool squad, then it makes sense that you would choose him. Of course you would. If you've not got so many more options, if Salah's already been Evo'd, this could be the next one for you. So it's not based around who you'd go into Evo for your actual team as such, but more in the grand scheme of it as such. Now, hilariously, I do think Mbappe still tops every measure of every stat that we could possibly find with this. He is just Mbappe. I must admit, he's just incredible. As we know, I don't think it's any sort of extra bonus that you didn't know. We've also got a 95 here as well. Every single version of him is absolutely insane. He's just a very good card. Naturally, he's kind of the front cover. He's the star boy. He's bound to be incredible in every version that he's got. Obviously, the top coming in at 5.7. You've got obviously the Dream Chaser coming in at 5.6, but you've got 352. Now, if you've used Mbappe at all this year or last year, whatever, you know full well the gold Mbappe will last a lifetime. He lasts the whole game, unless you physically get a better striker, like you get a Team of the Year CR7 and a Mia Hamm Winter Wildcard, or you get R9's new upgrade. They are going to be the only strikers that really take out an Mbappe, in my opinion. You could take him out, but realistically he's still going to have the exact same proficiency as he does at the start of the game, which is just incredible to see nonetheless. When we look at a few more, I think Isaac would be a great one for an Evo. I like the build of him in general. He's very much like kind of like a Sorloth-esque sort of build, and I like Nunez for it as well. I think Nunez is exactly the same. He's got that incredible build that with an upgrade would be very good. Now, obviously with both of them, you're going to look at Nunez and see, okay, well, he does have the 92. Fantastic upgrade there. Could do with a little bit more. Isaac, obviously not as fortunate. I think he's got himself just this upgrade and that was it. It's 1S. So, yeah, he's got the 89. He got a player of the month, that's what it was. And even then, he still didn't get the double Playstyle plus for that one either. So, unfortunately, he's kind of just there, really. Dalglish, as much as I'd probably say you need the Evo first, but he's still incredible. Same with Di Natale. I think he's got a big enough name that would allow that sort of Evo. Same as CR7 now going into the 90. Icons, it's a very difficult one. I would say you could get away with Drogba a little bit, but I'd say you kind of want the Evo as well. I think you could get away with a lot of these, but because they obviously do have an Evo up there, for instance, if you're looking at a Dalglish, it's going to be easier for you to use him, for instance. So say we go into the Dalglish cards, you've got a 1.4, 500,000, 142, and then 143. It's easier to upgrade the 88 than it is to buy the 94. Whereas when you look at someone like Drogba, he's got the 92, he's 145 here, but he's only 490 for his best version. So I would possibly say it'd be better off just trying to upgrade Drogba, buy the upgrade of Drogba, rather than necessarily Evo him as such. Kluivert would be down, Mia Hamm obviously up. Ginola, I'd be looking at an Evo now being his 90. Same as Torres, he's obviously got one there as well. Gakpo, I'd drop down. Thinking Gyökeres, I mean, you could use him. I think you could get away with him a little bit, but I don't think it's much. I really think, to be honest, in fact, I'd go for the 92 a little bit more. Kolomoane is another one for the Evo. These three have the body type to work really, really well. Lookman can go on the bench. Morgan can go there as well. Rogers would as well. R9 obviously up here. Again, you've got the Strike Force Evo that you could have put on him, which if you had him by that point, you probably would have put him on, in my opinion. He's just sensational. It's R9, and no wonder he's so expensive. Lotta, I don't know, to be honest. I never really liked her to begin with. I thought she was okay, but she just didn't really give me too much. Rapid and Finesse, which is nice. The 4-star, 5-star. She's got some I mean, you could get a little bit out of it. The problem is really, you could probably do the same with these. Like, you could get that little bit out of her, but I'm going to drop her down, to be honest. I quite like Alan Shearer, personally. I think you could argue, again, like, the miss more than anything. I think he's one of them that, for me, it's probably I had a few good games with him, and that was about it. Socrates, I mean, you'd Evo Socrates. I mean, he's not terrible. Obviously, Smith has got to go up into that category. Sanchez would be miss. This Tevez would definitely be a miss, in my opinion. Van Nistelrooy would go down there, as well as Van Persie. Del P. He's not, I'm pretty sure he's due a card this coming week, the Immortals Team 2, but we will see where that does go, because we'll see what sort of upgrades he gets. He's got the Finesse. The 91, you wouldn't necessarily go for just a standard Evo for him. I'd possibly miss out on him, to be honest. Butra, obviously, is up there. Neymar's got to be up there as well. This Rooney I don't think's had an upgrade at all yet. We've only got the Thunderstruck still. The 88 obviously has been able to go into a kind of a few of the upgrades. Obviously, the biggest one, I'm pretty sure he could go into the Strike Force. Yeah, so you could have made him a pretty incredible striker, like most of them. This is what I mean with the Evos, is sometimes it's good to wait. Like, I think with Rooney, personally, I don't think he's been announced to come as another Foot Immortals, but he would be in with the shout, in my opinion. I know Smith most definitely has. I mean, you could possibly get a bit of use, but we're just being practical here. Like, realistically, if we're looking at strikers now, we're looking at the topper echelon of strikers. They just have to be. When you're looking between quite a few of these, like Martinez now would be dropping down for his 94. We're going for the top end sort of players. Liao, I think, still puts himself up there most definitely. I think Firmino, I'm being very kind for him, to be honest. I don't really rate him too much as a striker. In fact, you know what? I will miss out on him. I think as a cam he's much better, but as a striker, I don't know if I could. Alvarez, this version I'd probably miss out on. I'd say this Messi. I mean, he's got a few different versions you can kind of choose from. I've kind of not seen the one that I want yet. More obviously, he's going to get a team of the season, so he will end up being like a 98 at some point. I like this version, but I don't think we've seen the version of Messi where he reaches top meta yet. I think he's incredible at the dribbling side of it, but not quite the finishing product as such. He's not the full package as of yet. Rashford needs an upgrade, but that's an incredible card as we know. Ooh, base Cruyff. I know he's had loads of upgrades across the board now, and he does have his future star icon. I'd probably go with this version now. He's incredible, like, don't get me wrong. I just think maybe a little bit under for a striker's point of view. He doesn't have the finesse or rapid or anything shooting related. Could be dropped down. I'd go Dalglish up here. Eto would do the same, because now when we look at the icons we've got, I'd say the same for Mia Hamm. Should be dropped down, really. Henry's team of the year is obviously going to be there. Prince would drop down for me. And then kind of we want to see, like, if you look at the new ones that we'll go through, there's so many top-end strikers, it's unbelievable. Vinny, I really like Vinny, to be fair. I think he works the magic. He's just naturally a very good one. Same as Haaland, to be honest. I think I'd go the 94 drop down, but obviously his team of the year honourable, I'd keep up in that top sort of level, as well as his FUT birthday. I really like these pairings of cards, as much as I think the FUT birthday just emulates that little bit better, just because obviously he's got the 5-5, he's got the finesse and power shot in comparison to the acrobatic and power shot. Maybe you could drop it down. You could possibly go with the 95 there, as the FUT birthday was the final product as such. Mia Hamm, obviously. CR7, obviously. Pushgas. These are kind of the easy ones from the previous top before we got into the FUT Immortals, but most of them still stay there. Like, obviously, the Pele, the Eusebio. We are meant to be getting a Eusebio SBC as well. Whether, I'm assuming that's going to be the baby version, and we're going to get a prime and a baby, like Henry we did. I'd imagine that's going to be the same sort of level, so we'll end up with like a 92 or 93 Eusebio, rather than like the 96, 97 that more than likely will go in. Shaw would go into usable. Smith is outrageous. Then we're kind of now into some, again, more Evo categories. Like, if you're a Chelsea fan, Jackson's going to be the first on your list. Same as Cunha. He's going to be an incredible Evo. Same as Tell. I think Tell is one of the ones that I would consider. I think Cunha could be usable. Watkins I'd miss out on, and I just think he won't really hit it. I have got Werner here, in fact. I miss him because I have got the 91 that we will talk about. Balotelli at this point, Giriassi as well, I'd probably miss out. Like, realistically, we're not going to either them. If you're thinking we are one away from a potential Mbappe Evo, I am never going to pick, even if Jackson was a 91, I am never going to pick anybody over Mbappe to put them in that Evo. Now, there's multiple, I get that, but realistically, are you picking a Jackson at that point without being a Chelsea fan? Chawinga, drop it down. We're going to go with Hernandez down here. Duran, run the course. I like Kolomoane, 91. I mean, could you get a little bit out of him? Am I being really harsh? Because I think the FUT birthday was the turning point for a lot of these. But realistically, the chip shot and relentless, it just ain't the one, really, is it? Like, come on. When you're comparing him to the 93, in fact, I needed to upgrade him. Something like the quick step first touch, it's a lot better. Like, it is so much better than the FUT birthdays. I'd have to go usable for, obviously, Nunez and Kolomoane. Pop definitely doesn't have the same effect this year. I think last year in a team of the year was outrageously good. Stoichkov as well, another one that I think was better in previous years. Jamie Vardy, nostalgic value, probably drop him off. Maybe could be an Evo, just purely on the fact of the name of him. Like, he's not going to get that many more cards. To have him as a potential Evo later on, you could wait and see, does he get another card in footies? If not, you could Evo him then, but by then he'll be a bit cheaper. Govu would go into the usable. Havertz as a striker. I mean, I preferred the centre mid. I really thought that was the better card in my opinion, but I get that people would do him for that card as well. Power shot technical with the 5-5. I mean, you could get a bit out of him. I think you could, if you've done that SBC, you could get a little bit out of him and then maybe Evo him as well. Loved a bit of Robbie Keane. He's obviously got to go up there. Lineker, I'd do the same as Shearer. And Pichon, I'd drop down. Smolarek, I think these are kind of now coming in as the slightly just under tier. Maybe Thuram could go at one more. Van Basten, I actually quite liked him in this version, I must admit. Previous versions, if you've ever seen Van Basten, he's always just been big, bulky, and useless. This is just a better version. Like, he's obviously got a bit more pace, which will definitely help. He doesn't need necessarily the shooting, but whenever we've seen Van Basten, like, he got the 92. Obviously, he got into the Trophy Titans. 95 was useless. We got the Prime Moments. It just never worked out, because by the time he got the upgrade, we was already 5 steps ahead of him. I must admit, with a FUT birthday, I thought he was alright. He weren't the best striker, but he was at least alright. Sasic going up there, obviously top meta with CR7 and Dalglish. Ooh, Dumbia. Dumbia is an unbelievable. If you've used him, them trio, as much as we got all of the memes of the streets won't forget, they already forgot a week after. He's a great striker and he's got the stats that you want. You've got so many strikers, it's unbelievable. And I think that's where it really kind of happens, that you're like, okay, well, where do we go with this? Because obviously you've got yourselves a beautiful trio, but none of them really get into the team anymore. Evos have taken over them. You've got players that have just come out and are twice as better as all of them again. So where do they actually fit in? And I think Dumbia would go into the very usable. Same as obviously Drogba. And I'd say the same as Endrick as well. Endrick, I don't know what's going on with Endrick, to be honest. He's obviously got the future star. He's still got a lot to learn. He's still, what, how old is he? Is he not 18? Or is he younger? He's 18 years old, so he's still got so much to give in terms of the career. It just might not be this year he gets the special card. More than likely, we will end up with an Endrick footies, because I don't know if he's done personally enough for any of the matches yet for Real Madrid. I don't know how much he's actually playing, but if he's not doing anything there, then he's going to need some sort of non-performance based one. Obviously, we do have a Rashford at 94, needs to be upgraded. Outrageously good, as we know. Rashford's always good in game. Gomez would go into the usable. Griezmann would go into the very usable. I like her. I think she's got a little bit kind of to go, but I mean, she's not a bad card to say the least. We then have Alvarez. I'd probably drop him down now. And this is where the shift in strikers goes. Like, I think I did this list a month or so ago, and literally it has been turned on its head. Like, the FUT birthdays were the best thing since sliced bread, and now there's definitely some that still sit on top. Like, Leao is obviously on top, Smith is obviously on top, but there's a lot like Alvarez and Griezmann who were the next best thing, now are slightly dropped down a little bit. We also then have into the fancies, so we have the likes of Marmouche, who unfortunately is still a 95. Has he got any room to give? They didn't win the 2 matches. Wow, that is... You'd have guaranteed that City do that. What's his price drop at then? So he was 4.5, and now we're looking at how much? 2 mil. If you needed to sell out quick time, like if you didn't know that this was the sellout point, you dropped very quickly. Still a very good striker nonetheless. I think him and Son are both absolutely in their prime with these versions. Obviously, Son still at a 94. Did he get the upgrade, in fact? They didn't win 2. So that's what I mean. How hard the 10 club goals is. It may sound in 4 matches that you get 10 goals. It's very difficult. Like, I mean, man, you haven't got 10 goals all season. So in general, it's very hard. But the win 2 matches are really expected. Obviously, Ipswich was the win. Man City was the only win they got. You'd have thought Fulham and Bournemouth, there could have been something, but in general, we got Son, and he's still obviously incredible, coming in at the 2 mil mark. Personally, for me, if I was looking at these, It's Dalglish that kind of drops it down for me. Obviously, Son is a 5-5 as well. I think they've got to be. They've absolutely got to be up there with the best of them. I think they both offer the ultimate. Guy Carrez would drop down here. I think Henry is outrageously good for that SBC. We have Biar, I don't know, Biar, however you want to pronounce the name. Rasmus would be into an evolution. Gerdmuller, I quite like. Triple shooting playstyle plus, which is the first we've seen. I think last year we was looking for the quadruple, and this year could you get it? Because if we look at the playstyles, we've obviously got, can I go to all of the places? Where's all the playstyles? If obviously you've got the others, where is the playstyles? Playstyles. So if you've got the shooting, we could go power shot, finesse, power shot, finesse, Travella, low driven, because I'm thinking you don't really want chip shot. Power header doesn't count. Dead ball don't count. So you could go for all 4 of them. You could literally have every shot going. But whether it's worth it or not, you'd probably, if you're looking at a striker, you want quick step, finesse at the minimum. Low driven or power shot's great. And then I'd possibly go for either like a press proven or first touch to give you a bit extra depending on the player. If it's an Mbappe, quick step, yes. Finesse, yes. I'm okay with him only having that and going like first touch and what else could you go? What's another great one? I'm thinking like a flare, a press proven, something to just give him a little bit more technical ability. Maybe something like, I mean, tackles, no. You could go aerial. I mean, relentless in the grand scheme of things is a great one for the stamina side of stuff. But then I'd possibly go for the shooting. So there's a lot that you could kind of learn from with them personally. Ollie, I mean, you wouldn't Evo him. I think he's got a little bit of kick in him still. Same as Werner. I think he's a very good striker. He's obviously got himself the upgrade to the 91, which was always nice. He obviously has got the power shot, the quick step. I quite like both. I think he's got a little bit in him, but he will drop down very, very quickly. Kane obviously goes up into the very usable. I'd say Lewandowski does exactly the same. Peugeot would drop down. I don't really like Prince. Raul is outrageously good. If you've used any version of Raul this year, he's definitely stepped up massively. 850 I think is a bargain for him, to be honest. You obviously had the 92 that eventually could go into SBCs, but evolutions, but I just, again, I don't think it's worth putting such a high rated or waiting for such a high rated card when you are going to have the choices of a Sophia Smith in that Evo, an Mbappe in that Evo, and Alvarez. There's too many names to then say that would be the option you go with. So it's a little bit more difficult. Obviously for the 90, a little bit better. You can obviously get a bit more on him, which is nice. You get the rapid and finesse, but obviously this version does have the low driven, the finesse, and the quick step, which, to be honest, is almost at this point one of the perfect striking playstyle pluses you can get. Sure, a little bit worse than her team of the team of the year, to be honest. I think when we look at the comparison, like the actual design of the shirt, the shirt design. I don't know where I was going with that. It's actually really complementary with the Dream. It is the Dream Chasers. Yeah, the Dream Chasers UWCL. I think it looks really nice. It kind of blends perfectly. In terms of the playstyle pluses, you've obviously got to go against the 290. You could argue that she might be really out of her depth here. I think she might have a little bit of kick in her, but not too much. Avia would be dropped down to an Evo, potentially just into the miss. El Jabba would be the same, and to be honest, would go Evo for Zola, which is easy. Then we have the 3 big boys. These are some of the best strikers we've got so far. Just before team of the season, we have an extinct R9 with a rapid, finesse, and low driven. We have a 6.9 million Henry with the rapid, the finesse, and the first touch. And we have a 94 Bale at 3.1 with a quick step, low driven, and a dead ball, which works pretty well. All of them are absolutely outrageous. If you've used any sort of top-end sort of striker, obviously R9 just packs the lot of them. He's incredible. Bale in his team of the year was fantastic, but this version, again, is just another level up, which is just perfect for him. And then obviously when we look at Henry, this year especially, Henry has just been a magician in front. I would say with Henry, if you are looking at him versus his 92, if you're looking to save a bit of coinage, the 92 is fantastic. The rapid low driven is perfect. He has the stat upgrade. He would be one as a 92 instead of the Raul that I would Evo 10 times over. If it's between him and Mbappe, there's a potential I would choose him depending on the Evo. So always make sure you're looking at that. 1.2 mil is a steal for that SBC in my opinion. And that is going to be the list for everybody. So let me know down below the strikers you're rocking with at the moment. We will obviously have a new upgrade once Team of the Season's out, and maybe we refresh a lot of these because, like I say, a lot of the misses are just not necessarily needed anymore. But let me know what you think. Peace.